Do you know John Gottman's work, the Gottman Institute? Are you familiar with this? I think it was he and his wife did a bunch of research about 20, 30 years ago, where they would put video cameras on couples and watch them communicate. And then eventually they figured out that they could watch a couple communicate for 20 minutes and then predict with like 95% accuracy whether or not they would still be married in 5 years. And so they identified sort of four things, which they called sort of the Four Horsemen of the relationship apocalypse, which I realize is the Four Horsemen of my relationship apocalypse. I've had relationship turmoil both in my professional and personal life over the years, and I can see each of these at play. So the first thing is criticism. And it's not criticizing an idea saying, I think that our idea or your work is terrible and I think it needs to improve. It's criticizing the person. It's saying you're lazy, you're bad at your job, you're not responsible, like criticizing the person, which often leads to defensiveness. And this is probably my big bugbear, right? It's like if I even sense a little bit of criticism coming from somebody about myself, I can get very defensive, which then often results in me criticizing them. And so we get in this little spiral, right? Criticism and defensiveness kind of develop a spiral. The third thing, or kind of going up the scale, the next thing that can happen often is contempt, which can be even expressed in just sort of an eye roll, like you again, right? You know, like that kind of thing, which can really shut people down. And then the final thing is stonewalling, which is, I just can't talk to you about this. It's different from setting boundaries and being like, we can't discuss this now because we're too emotional. We should discuss it later, which may be a good idea. It's like, I can't discuss this with you because you're too emotional, right? So all of these things kind of like work together. And what I find is that, like, as a leader, as someone who really cares about teamwork and cares about like building a good team around me, I have to really, really check myself because I'm more powerful than the people I've hired. If I critique them or if I get defensive in their presence, which are, I think, where it often starts, then I can end up just like blowing I can blow trust, I can blow, like anything. And then people just sort of shut down. They might still show up, but they'll shut down around me. And so what I've had to learn to do is, one, not to say things when I'm feeling that way, right? To like just kind of keep that emotion in. And then I have a good therapist. I have a wife who is very wise and a very patient listener and who's willing to help me sort of process my emotion. I have a morning journaling practice where I kind of try to say, well, like, what am I feeling and why am I feeling it? And what can I do about it? And I kind of ask myself these questions. It's a sort of a free writing practice that I do. It's something that's been very helpful to me in the past few years of like really understanding my own emotions. But the main thing is, don't act on it, right? Like, don't act on that, especially if you're the most powerful person in the room. From a hierarchical perspective, your words probably have like 10x the impact on a subordinate than their words have on you. Yeah. And we have to really, really, really appreciate that.